Hi, guys.
Yeah, just say hi.
Hello.
If anything pops into your head.
Here. The thing that kept going through my head was are you okay?
Yeah, I'm trying to get
my
over too much.
shoes. You just almost tripped on my shoes.
Yeah.
I kept wanting to draw a chart. And the cool thing about running this, we could run this episode later. I could run it and run the whiteboard on Zoom, and I can draw the picture on the computer show. But they just kept drawing a picture. They kept drawing a picture of us, of people, because you kept talking about faith in the beginning.
Yeah.
They were talking about people and healing and how Jesus passed on the ability to heal to the 70. Yeah. It was all 70 of them. Yeah, and so it was kind of like an attunement, like what we do, like what I do on people with their Reiki attunements or with the higher self attunements, and
they all became Reiki masters.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah,
that's what Dr. Emoto, or not Emoto, the guy who started Reiki. God, it's slipping my mind. Horrible. But anyways, he went up to the top of a mountain. I know. Well, he went up to the top of the mountain to find out how Jesus healed, and that's when he was giving the Reiki symbols and the ability to heal. So they were just showing Jesus is having this, like, they're showing like the sun. Remember the other night they talked about the gold or the yellow sun or whatever inside of us, and it was interesting because I kept seeing like children. They had like the sun inside them, and then I saw them get older and older and older, and then some of them the sun would leave, like kind of like the Christ within them would leave because they would fall into fear or anger or whatever. The world would get to them. But I just kept hearing them say, no matter what, when you follow the sun, you'll always know where you're going. And I was like, well, isn't that kind of like directions or whatever? You know, you follow the sun going down on the west or whatever, the sun goes down. And they said, follow the sun. You'll always feel it inside of you, whether you're baptized or whether you're a Christian or not, no matter what religion you are, you always have a sun inside of you, and we are the sun. So like basically like our soul is like the Father, and he talks about the Father. We have this consciousness that's up there, and it creates a sun, and that sun lives inside of our soul, and it guides us and it leads us the whole way. But it doesn't really tell us what to do. They're saying it holds a frequency to where you don't feel human emotion. And that's why it's so easy for them to say, oh, just forgive or just have faith. Because if you don't have like bitter human emotion, it's pretty easy to believe in anything or have faith in anything, right? If you're not dredging up the past or thinking about the future and you're not worrying, like they keep saying, don't worry. But they're saying that there is a piece inside of every single person, everyone watching this, everyone out there, a piece inside of us that is completely emotionally mature, that doesn't get triggered by the world. And they said that we just need to start asking for that, because what the world needs right now is the Christ within each of us. And that Christ is like, just think about when you broke a lamp, or you broke something when you were a kid and you were just like, that's it, I'm dead, I'm never going to see the light of day, my parents are going to come home, they're going to be so mad, and you just were like dreading it. Or you had a note that got sent home from school that you did something and you had to have your parents sign it or something. I don't think I ever got that, but you know, it's like that real like just nervous, like, oh my God, I'm just going to get it. And you don't even know what's going to happen. It's that fear of like unknowing. But now looking back at that time, you think, oh gosh, if I only knew then what I knew now, that was no big deal compared to all the stuff I've gone through in my life. So what they're saying is that there's that piece of us that's grown up and beyond that's in us already for every single thing that's going on in our life. Because if you think about it, what Jesus was saying was everything that happens bad in this world is based on somebody being afraid of the unknown. If somebody's afraid of an unknown, they are triggered to just blow up on people, go off on people, scream at people, yell at people, get mad at people. And then those people then go and they have that bad mood on them. They go blow up on somebody else and explode on somebody else. And then, you know, then they go off on the person that works next to them in a cubicle. And then that cubicle person goes home and yells at their kid. And their kid starts acting out at school and then goes and bullies another kid. So it's like this, like, we are all one in a sense, but we're not. And we have to remember that. We have to remember that the way that we treat others is going to, that's where we're talking about, it was the rules, the 2 rules to live by. Because if a lot of people don't love themselves, a lot of people treat themselves the way that they were treated when they were growing up. Maybe they weren't loved as a child, like their parents didn't have time to love them or didn't have time to pay attention to them or whatever. They'll love others the way they love themselves, and that's how they were taught to love. So they may like neglect themselves because they were neglected as a child. So then when they go to love someone else, they neglect. They don't hoard over the person. They just kind of neglect them. That's love to them. So it's kind of hard to because I was telling Jesus in my head, I was saying it's kind of hard to say love your neighbor because nobody really knows what love is. I mean, love is different to every single person. Some people, love is like you. I mean, I watched this couple the other day and I was just like, what? Like, I cannot stand having a boyfriend like that or a husband. They were holding hands the whole time in Sprouts. Holding hands. I was like, how do you even like move and pick out an apple? It was like, he was like picking out with one hand and like they were holding hands with like, and I was just like she's insecure, he's insecure, but you could tell he was kind of pulling her around the store and she was just like walking around, just like, like, and I was just like, I would be so drunk and on so many drugs or something if someone was going to be pulling me around like that. They'd have to have me drugged and drunk to have me being pulled around by a man like that. But it was like, he was just, I mean, everywhere. They were in there for like an hour. I was in there for an hour the whole time holding hands. And I was just like, somebody there doesn't know the true definition of love, or either she needs to have him holding her hand so he feels like she's not going to get taken by somebody, and it wasn't like a really like, you know, rich looking guy with a really good looking girl. Like, it wasn't anything like that. It was just two very average, basic people just basically holding hands, walking around everywhere together. And he was a little bit ahead of her, and she was at one point he was on the phone and he was trying to pick out an apple, and he was like this with the phone and trying to pick out an apple, and he was holding her hand with the other hand, and I was just like, oh my God. Wow. But just think of one of the two of them growing up or something has some sort of issues to where they think that love is holding on to each other the whole time. So when they have kids, I'm sure their kids are going to feel like they need to be holding on to somebody, or they're going to think that in order to show that you love someone, your parents have to be holding hands. So if they grow up and their significant other doesn't want to hold their hand, they're going to feel very unloved. So when you hear things like love others the way you love yourself or whatever, it's like, it's kind of like a recipe for like mass chaos if everybody's going to love everybody, because love is kind of just a weird thing. But the way that Jesus came in and told me when I was sitting over there, I kind of got knocked out, and we were talking to me. I was sitting up there at this little table, and he goes, love is attention. Love is attention without anger. He says, so when somebody's paying attention to somebody else, it's because they love them. Like when you're a child, if you're getting attention as love. So human beings take love as attention. So people will do anything for attention, even bad stuff, to get attention. And he's not saying love is attention. He's saying human beings believe that love is attention. So by getting attention or not getting attention, that's basically what love is. And I said, well, then what is love, Jesus? And he says, and he goes, what is love? And I was like, no, what is love? And he says, what is love? And I said, no, what is love? And he said, what is love? And I was like, oh my God. Yes. No, God says yes. No, I said, oh my gosh, seriously, are you going to tell me? And he says, everybody inside of themselves knows what love is. I don't know if I could.
More is in respect and adornment.
Okay, so that's yours. Mine would be trust and leaving me alone. Like trusting me to do what I need to do and not asking me about it a million times and not hovering. So everyone's love is different.
I think who was it said that love has something like 33 different definitions?
Oh, I can imagine.
Yeah, there's like 33 different, I don't know which language it's in. But
Peter says, love is flowers, and that's why love dies. He's over here with like flowers, but he's going, if you want someone to know that you love them, you give them flowers. What better to do than to give them a dying plant? Peter's being so funny. But no, Peter actually just said something that's very smart. He says, love for God, most people think of God as a genie. They go, oh, God, rub my lamp, and okay, God, what do I want today? This is what I want. And he says, you ask a genie for help, you're going to get a genie. He says, you can't be asking God for things the way you would ask for a genie. He says, you have to love what it is that you want. And then that's when it will become. He says, this is where we get into it with wealth and money and loving, because you can love the way you feel when you have enough money to cover your bills and you don't have to worry about, where the money's going to come for your next, house payment or the electricity bill or whatever. But you have to think of the way that you feel when you're secure with that, when you're not in fear. And he said that's love. That love is when you don't feel fear. Interesting. Just that's it. When you don't feel fear, he says it's not necessarily safe. He says when you feel secure and you feel a part of and you feel included and you feel at one with your life. That's when you feel truly loved. That's kind of true, huh? That's pretty good, Peter. Pretty good. He goes, thank you. He says, so when we look for a relationship, when we get into a relationship, when we start to feel like that security, that person is going to be taken away, we get very afraid, and we start to either push that person away to make them go away quicker so that we won't feel the feeling of having that security taken away. So love is security, and when you're in love with someone, you're not necessarily in love with that person, you're in love with the way that you feel with that person. So it's not just like a one person thing. He says, love, the way that you feel when you're in love. He says it's not lust. It's not, ooh la la, they're so attractive and oh la 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 la. He says that's lust. But the being in love with someone and feeling secure with someone and just knowing that they're there, he says that's love. And in friendship, it's the feeling of neutrality, like you don't have to worry that they're going anywhere. So he says the very first heartbreak our consciousness ever experiences as a soul is when we get broken off from God, because we know we will never get put back there. We'll never go back, and we'll never be one with God again the way we were, because now we're off on this mission for eternity to learn and grow and experience and then become our own creator, our own God, and then break little pieces off of us. So he says the first heartbreak, he's saying the very first heartbreak is the separation from that which we came from and that which is love. And that's completion, that's togetherness. He says, however, the fact that we are broken from that which is love and we are love gives us the opportunity to become all that we are, all that we ever will be, and all that we ever were, and create new life, create new beings, and create new worlds. Because that's what everything's about. That's what creation is about. It's creation, is making things, is living and experiencing everything that we've made in this world. And so he says, stop searching for love. Ask yourself first what love is inside, and then you'll find love. He says, stop looking for money. Ask what it is that you want to feel from having the money, and then ask to feel that. Ask God, ask Christ. Ask the piece of you that is mature, that is spiritually, mentally, and emotionally mature enough to know and understand the emotions of being wealthy or being in love or having that house or that car or having those kids or whatever. Emotionally mature enough to feel love and be able to give love to those things without it being bad. You know, I want to have $1 million and I want to know what it feels like, what I would feel like to have that money. And if it's not love inside, if it's not completion, if it's not security, then teach me how to feel that, or make me want something else. And that's kind of what we have to ask God, because everybody's wants and desires drive them in life. And sometimes the wants and desires drive people to want to make $1 million, and then they get the $1 million and they end up committing suicide anyways, or they end up just not wanting to be there. They think, oh gosh, all that, and now I don't have anything. It's because, he says, it's because they've never known love inside, and they are not willing to accept love inside. So ask Christ into your heart. Ask Christ consciousness. If you don't want to do Christ, ask the Christ consciousness as a golden heart. Ask this golden metallic like heart into your heart. Pull it into your heart and ask that all the darkness within you that's been hurt, that's been torn away from you, that you've lost love, that you've lost money, you've had experiences, you've had trauma. Ask that the golden heart of Christ fill the space inside of you now that is empty and that is lost. And as this golden heart expands throughout your entire body, allow it to expand up all the way through your entire body until it's surrounding you, and just know and understand that Christ is you, is in you, is all around you, and the love of the Father, the love of the Mother, the love of all of your soul, all of your soul family, everybody, anyone that you've ever known, will know, have known, that love is inside of you, and don't be afraid to let the love in. In fact, ask now that heart be opened up, and allow all the love that has been sent to you throughout your lifetime to be let into your body now, because many of you have completely blocked the love because you don't want it. You don't want it. You don't want to send it. You don't want the love because it hurts. It hurts you because you're afraid you're going to lose it. But no one understands that if you can ask each day to allow the love in that you didn't see as love, maybe you saw it as criticism, or you saw it as nagging, or you saw it as something other than love. Ask now to each day to allow that love into your heart, and then that will then raise your vibration, raise up your frequency to a point where you can heal yourself. You cannot get sick when your body is in a love resonance, where your body feels loved. The parts of your body that get sick are the ones that don't feel loved. They feel isolated, and they feel empty, and they feel alone. And that is all we have to say today. Let love in. Let love shine, and allow Christ to do Christ's job, and that is to teach you the emotional maturity to know that I did break that lamp. My parents are probably going to be pretty upset. I didn't mean to do it. I'm not going to feel guilty. I'm just going to say I'm sorry, and that's it. But that never happens like that. The kids feel guilty, then they get down on themselves, and then they get in trouble, and then they hang on to it, and they remember breaking the lamp, and then they feel guilty, and then the next time the parents get a lamp, they don't want to go near it because they don't want to break it. So there's just all of these things that get imprinted into us out of fear of what other people are going to feel, and that's the unknown. So when you're feeling the unknown, when you're feeling stressed, when you're feeling unease, just ask Christ, ask your soul, your I am, to step in and to help you to feel at ease, and to help you to not see the future, but to know that the future is going to be okay. Because when you have faith, and when you have that Christ consciousness within you, guiding you and leading you each day, allowing the love into your life, you can't go wrong. Because even if something really bad happens that you would think is bad, it won't be bad. You'll say, oh, I learned something from that. Oh gosh, yeah, okay, that wasn't that bad. But if you look at it from the other point, where there's no love in you and you think everyone's against you, nothing can ever be good when you feel everyone's against you. We are all brothers and sisters, and we are all able to treat each other with respect and love, regardless of how horrible our neighbor is, Peter says, and how horrible they think we are. Okay, and Jesus says, and it is good. He says, and it is good, and it is so. We bless you. And then he went like this, whoosh, and I went boom, like that. And he did me back kind of like those, you were saying the healing people? Uh-huh. He just did that to me, and went like boom, and I went, ugh, like my energy body went backwards, and I went, oh, thanks. And he says, yeah, I just had to heal that thing on the back of your head because my head's been hurting. Like that. My head doesn't hurt.
I finally remembered the thing that was from yesterday that God had said.
Verily, verily?
No. Oh. God said when Jesus was getting baptized, he said, this is my son, whom I'm very well pleased.
Very well pleased. Oh, that's right. Yeah, you thought of that last night.
I just couldn't come up with that. I could remember the well. I could remember the please, but I just couldn't put it together. So
I know. I can never think of it when I'm on camera.
Before you finish, if you could just say hi to those who actually came on live.
Mama's on here. Hi, Mama. Tell the kids, do the kids see me? To love when you, she says, return to love when you feel fear. But it's very hard to when you're in fear to be like, oh, let me just feel love. I just want to feel love. But if we can ask the piece of us in our mind that's already there, that we already have access to step into us and just say, step into me now, piece of me that already knows the outcome to this, and just help me to feel something other than fear, unknowing, then it just goes away. And that's what they were saying about the attunement is when they got taught to heal, these 70 just got brought into a place within themselves where they were not in fear, where they just felt, and that's why they couldn't have like the outside belongings and stuff, because they'd have a fear of, oh, what if my money gets stolen, or what if this gets taken, or what if this family member gets sick, then I'm going to just be so upset if something happens to them. So he was trying to find people that were unattached to other things, not because they were bad things, but just because their focus needed to be on
what they're doing. Yeah,
like I try to channel, and then the kids come in, and it's like I'm no longer a channel, I'm now mom. Yeah. So I drop down into my lower chakras because I'm like trying to get grounded and trying to work with the kids and stuff. So it's nice to be able to take a little tiny bit of a break and come over and channel and stay connected to the ethers. But then back to Vegas will be like back into the everyday run of whatever. Mama's there. Let's see, Marisa. Oh, hey, Marisa. And then there's Marisa Carter. 2 Marisas.
Wow.
3 Marisas with me. That says Sid, I think. Jessica. There's lots of people on here. Rachel, I haven't seen you in forever. Hey, girl. Werner, hey. You guys better come to class tomorrow night. See you on here. You better be at class. If you guys can't afford to come to class, remember, just let me know and we'll give you a coupon code to get into class, okay? Don't ever not come to class because of money. And then Jose. Werner. There's Werner again. Okay. Yeah, I think I got everybody on here. And then Rosa. Hi, Rosa. Oh, is that Rose or Rosa? My eyes are so bad. But let's talk about my glasses again one more time. Where are these things? You guys got to see them. They're the best. Where are they?
Oh, your sunglasses?
Yeah. Excuse the Tom Cruise look, but watch this. I'm recording you. These are so cool. You can wear them and they just record everywhere that you look and go. You can see like your own hands. And I was thinking when I'm watching these through the camera, it must be what our soul feels like.
Maybe, yeah.
You know, because I always kind of feel like that movie, The Blair Witch Project. You know, I don't feel real and I feel like we're kind of like watching life through like a camera. But you watch life through these eyes after the fact, and I feel like I'm my soul, kind of like reviewing my life. And so it's kind of cool. I wear these on my head. Me and Demi each got a pair. Demi was like, I don't understand these. What's the point? She's Gen Z. I was like, oh, you need them to be like this then, huh? Because the younger generation are all like the selfie like this, and she didn't really get why you would have glasses pointing outward. I was like, no, now, but me being the person that likes to be on camera, I got her a pair so that she could wear them and video me.
Oh, man.
So we both got a pair, but it was funny because she was like looking at them going like, which way did they tape? I don't understand. It was really funny. Anyways, okay guys, well, yeah, these glasses are fun and they come in like actual glasses, like with like the clear lens. So I want to get those too. And they record like at a minute at a time. So if you see anybody with one of these little lights on there and they're talking to you, they're recording everything that you're saying. So don't incriminate yourself. Okay. All right, guys, I will see you later. Yeah, we'll see you tomorrow for sure. Yeah. Yep. Oh, and class tomorrow night is, I'm going to do 7 to 9. It'll be here out of California. If anyone's local, like, you know, Christina and you guys, please call me so that we can arrange meeting up in person. Okay. Bye.